I realized after Billy passed, I went back and looked at our Facebook, and there weren't many pictures of us together, which in some ways was kind of unsettling because in my head, I could picture so many different memories with him, mostly tied to his writing with the Orlando Weekly and then later Watermark. When I first started freelance writing for Watermark years ago, we would be at some of the same events covering the domestic partner registry that, with Orange County, that was getting pushed back from Mayor Jacobs and the Board of County Commissioners at the time. And I was assigned to do the news coverage for Watermark on that in several different instances, and Billy would be there, and it was always great. He'd be there with his spiky platinum blonde hair, his shades, and a notepad, and he'd be, getting the scoop and then pushing it out on the weekly, which I think it was so powerful, having his perspective, as a writer for the weekly. And I remember thinking it was cool that he came over to Watermark, but in some ways, there was something really amazing about the work that he did with the weekly, especially. And I kind of looked at him as a friend, but also a mentor, because I was a freelance writer and not super, I'm a little green on doing this kind of coverage, and he was always very supportive. I think he also tried to help me get gigs with writing for Orlando Weekly. But, I also have struggled with anxiety throughout my life, which sometimes makes writing and meeting deadlines very difficult for me, like allergic to deadlines. Billy could attest to that as the editor for Watermark, me writing for him. He was very patient with me actually getting stories to him, not often on time. But, one of the reasons I had stopped writing for Watermark, which was kind of a source of sadness, it was hard for me to overcome the anxiety of writing, and I would get writer's block a lot, and it was just difficult for me to meet deadlines. And almost a year ago, actually July 14th, I had to go look at our Facebook message conversation. He messaged me and he said, "Do you have any interest in freelance writing again?" And I said, I'm kind of afraid. I know that I have this anxiety thing. I'm not sure that I could be reliable to turn out pieces at this point. I just have a lot going on. And, he was like, he was understanding. And then we kind of worked out an arrangement, not for a story that he was trying to pitch to me, but to do some other coverage. And that was kind of the beginning of me doing freelance writing again, which I think was so therapeutic after the Pulse attack. It helped me have a bit of a sense of purpose doing some sort of journalism again and writing for Watermark. And it was really hard to hear that I still don't know all the details of what happened with Watermark, but to see that relationship end and then on top of that to lose him was devastating, because he meant so much to me as someone I looked up to, and who, he looked out for me, and he came to our first Gays Against Guns meeting that I helped start that organization, and we just kind of bonded over some of the trauma around gun violence that we both have experienced. Mine nowhere, anywhere, and near as awful as what he's been through. But, yeah, I'm always grateful that Billy actually was willing to give me a second chance. And I'm so sad that he's gone. I just really can't even believe it. I wish that we could have given him a second chance. But I'm glad that I had the chance to tell Billy I loved him. And he'll never be forgotten here in Orlando. He's really an irreplaceable, he's part of the fabric of this city and what makes it so special, and his legacy will definitely live on through his chosen family and his loved ones and the people in the broader community who care about him and valued his voice. We'll do the best that we can to carry that forth. I'm definitely gonna miss you. Love you, Billy.